and leader of Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. I stumbled upon a story on Linda Ikeji's blog earlier on today. I was just scrolling through the blogs to see what was going on. And I saw the story and I said, you know what, let's talk about this. Ladipo, very popular on-air personality, actually lives in my estate. I think I've run into her once or twice in the estate. Got married recently. YouTube, it was a bit of an issue with SpectraNet, but we're back. We're back to IPNX. Okay, so the story is Ladipo said, I don't think I want to give birth to a child. I was like, all right. We normally hear all sorts of stuff in the headings of blogs, and half the time this has nothing to do with the content of the story. So I was like, all right, let me read the post. She said, I actually don't think I want to give birth to a child. I love babies and I'm great with them, but there's no need for that part of her body or body to go through that mess. Sorry. And I thought about it. There's a point you get to in life where you start thinking for yourself. I was talking about this yesterday. There are 7 billion people in the world today. If you are not comfortable with having children, this is going to be hard because by the time you're 50, it's a decision you can't unmake. It's a bell you can't unring. If you decide not to have children and then you're 50, it's now too late. So I usually advise people just have one child so that later on in life but at the end of the day, if you really don't want something, the world is going to get to that point where couples are going to get married and not have children. Worst case scenario, if they really want to have somebody to raise, they can adopt a child or 2 or 3. 7.9 billion people, that's more like 8 billion people. And that number more than doubled over a 50-year period. 50 years ago, we were about 3.3 billion, and now we're 7.9 billion. More than doubled. And that number is going to double again. That number is going to double again in another 50 years. So in 50 years, we're going to be what? 16 billion? So in 100 years, we're going to be 32 billion. You see, we need to get our mindset out of the space that got our parents in trouble in the first place. I say this all the time. Nigeria in 1960 had 45 million citizens, a population of 45 million. If you Google other countries, 1960 population, let's try Netherlands. Netherlands population. Netherlands population 2020 is about 17 million. Netherlands population 1960. Let's try this. Hold on, my internet's a bit slow. 11 million. So the Netherlands went from 11 million in 1960 to about 17 million. 1960 to 2020 is how many years? 1960 to the year 2000 is 40 years. To the year 2020 is 60 years, 2021 is 61 years. So in 61 years, the Netherlands grew, I wouldn't say they doubled, they almost doubled Less than double, because 11, double of 11 is 22. So they grew like about 80%. Countries like Romania in 1960, hold on a second for the internet. Romania in 1960 was 18 million, and in 2021 their population is 19.1 million. They had a very slow population growth of just 1 million in 61 years. The UK population, let's look at UK population in 2021, 67 million. UK population in 1960 was 52 million. So the UK went from 52 million to 61 million. Netherlands from 11 million to 17 million. Romania from 18 million to 19 million. Let's pick another country. Let's say Germany. Germany, population 1960 was 52 million. And the year 2020, of 2021, hold on a little for the internet, 83 million. So Germany went from 55 million to 83 million. And this includes migration. Now let's look at countries like Canada. Since we're talking about migration, everybody knows how Canada grew with immigrants and all. Canada population 2021 is 37 million. Canada population 1960 is 17 million. So from 17 million in 1960 to 38 million or 37 million in 2021. So Germany from 55 to 83, UK from about 52 to 61. Romania has the slowest population growth from 18 million to 19 million. What are the Netherlands from 11 million to 17 million. Canada from, what was that their population again in 1960? So, sorry. Population of Canada from 17 million to 38 million. Then, we now look at Nigeria within the same time frame. Nigerian population in 1960. Nigeria's population in 1960 was 45.1 million. Nigeria's population in 2021 is 211 million. Nigeria had a lower population in 1960. Esther, check that figure again. 211.4 is what I'm getting. Nigeria had less people than the UK in 1960. Today, Nigeria has more people than, let's start adding. UK is 61 million, plus Germany 82 million, plus Romania 19 million, plus Netherlands 17 million, plus, what other country did we go to again? Canada, 38 million. Okay, if you add Canada You now have 217 million, and Nigeria is 211 million. But Nigeria currently has as many people almost as the combination of Canada, Germany, the UK, where else? Romania, and the Netherlands. Now, guess what? Let's start looking at GDP. Romania, all the nations I talked about. Romania GDP 2021. Romania has 289.4 billion. Nigeria has more. Nigeria has 448 billion. But guess what? Romania has 289.4 billion divided by 19 million. Nigeria has 400, double it, divided by 211 million. I'll take this a little further. Let's look at Germany GDP. Germany GDP, as the gross domestic product for 2021. Germany's GDP is 3.8 trillion US dollars. Trillion. Meanwhile, Germany has 1/3 of our population, and they have 3.8 trillion. I'll take this a little further. The Netherlands. The Netherlands GDP, some reports have it at 900 million, some have it at 886 million. Let's go with the lowest. 886 million divided by 17 million, 886 billion, I beg your pardon, divided by 17 million. While our own is 448 billion divided by 211 million. Let's look for, what other country did we discuss earlier on? We discussed Germany, Canada GDP, because we spoke of Canada too. Canada GDP, 1.6 trillion. With a population of 38 million, they are in 1.6 trillion. So what am I trying to say? When Canada moved their GDP from billions to trillions, when Germany moved their GDP from billions to trillions, we, instead of producing like these nations did, we reproduced, because we based our intelligence on the Bible, the Quran, our traditions. You see, science is dynamic, religious is static. You cannot use a 2,000-year-old formula. Let me tell you something. 2,000 years old, the world was flat, and all calculations were made according to a flat earth. You need to see the development in medicine in the last century. Just the last century, how far medicine has grown in 100 years alone, not to talk of 2,000 years. Religion is not dynamic, it is static. People are fooled into believing that you came to this world to have children. There's nothing more deluded than that mindset. You read the message God had to Adam and Eve when they were just two in the world, struggling to name all the animals and all the plants and everything that they had. And God said, be fruitful and multiply. There's 7.8 billion of you. You don't need to be fruitful. You don't need to multiply. You have already over multiplied. They are basing their world. Listen, in the UK, things work. There's 61 million people are catered to. Enough vaccines to go round. Housing projects for the poor. Government support. In Canada, my best friend who lives in Canada, was given a loan of $35,000 or $45,000, I've forgotten the exact figure, during COVID, of which he's supposed to pay back over a 3-year period less $10,000. So, babes, are you ready to go? So, someone now said Africa and Asia are the problems of the world. I said, well, Asia is contributing very largely to the population of the world. I agree. China has about 1.7 billion, so does India. Between the two of them, they have about 3-point-something billion. That's a lot. Let's check China's GDP for 2020. China's GDP for 2020 hold on. China's GDP is about 23 trillion. You see, I like it when ignorant people, there's an ignorant person here called Jeremiah Aaron Percy. He said, have you paid 5 million? He now said, humanizer. Human, he spelled it humanizer. Sheleyi. Tí wọ́n ti fi destiny ẹ̀ lo postino. Oh, mọ̀ pé wọ́n ti fi destiny ẹ̀ wọ́n ti lo postino fún destiny ẹ̀. Ìwà ṣeré burúkú yìí. 5 million, bo, don't you understand how the court system works? Somebody served me a judgment that I was not part of. You know I can go and obtain a judgment behind your back. You know what that means? You went behind my back and obtained a judgment. I'm taking you to the appeal court to nullify that judgment. You can't get a judgment behind my back. I think it's time I started addressing the idiots. What's his name again? Please, if you're on Facebook, help me address him. Where is he? Jeremiah Aaron Percy. Amukumeko ajemoimoy tewe. I'm not preaching today, so if you cross me, I will give you what you will not like to hear. And on the D&C for destiny. I explained to you that they got judgment behind my back, and I'm now contesting the judgment. You are telling me to go and pay 5 million. 5 million to who? To your father? A year need that. Please, better people, let me come back before the humanizer call animalizer ni ashenwe. We are talking about something serious. You are talking humanizer. At least we are in appeal court. Wait for the appeal court to come out. Why don't you have sense? Only you can you not have sense in your generation. That's how one guy came to meet me. One busy Tanio. Him papa born him outside. I tell a story that day. The guy tell me say, they find me 5 billion for adultery. I say, your papa give your mama belly outside, they bring you and tamba. You think say I don't know you don't forget say I know your story. You they open your mouth. Why they not fine your papa 5 million? Please, 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 let's go to appeal court, and when we are done with appeal court, we can all come and be talking. I'm teaching you something. This is the same mistake your parents made. Please, better people, I'm in a good mood today. We're talking about China, whose GDP is in the double digits, trillions. Don't compare yourself with China or say China get population of 1 point something billion. Their GDP also now 20 something trillion. Just to show you, Germany's GDP is less than 4 trillion or about 4 trillion. China's own is measured to be somewhere between 15 trillion and 20 something trillion. What about India's GDP? They are measuring it in their core, their local USD. I'm using World Bank data. Somebody say, after you don't clear person just now, I don't pray to experience. How can you come to somebody's life with the motive of insulting the person? Let me tell you, when I did secondary school, they beat me every day because what they tell people. Some people they find as I tell them finish, they go begin the hunt for sniper. Sniper go begin hungry them because they no go fit continue for this world. Oh, I don't gentle. Now this Christ where I don't begin preach, now it make me gentle. But as I no preach am today, good say I warn that person so that next time you come to my life and come and talk this ignorant nonsense, somebody will remind you, say, waiting you go collect, go house. Then they call a hand out. You go they read down for now. You go they revise and when only you day. As that guy, they don't come my life again, don't run, disappear now. In mouth, they sharp. Unfortunately, I'm not getting the data for India. So I'll leave that out. Now, let's talk about countries and religion. Just Google most religious countries on earth. So, the least religious countries on earth. Number 1, Estonia. Estonia has 86% of its population that do not really believe in religion. 86%, the highest in the world. Number 2 is Sweden with 85%, Denmark 81%, Czech Republic 75% irreligious, Norway 78%, Japan 75%, Hong Kong 74%, the UK 73%, Finland 70%, Germany about 59% irreligious, more than half, Israel about 48%, United States is religious. They have such as Nigeria. Nigeria far. I don't scroll. Nigeria is at the tail. Nigeria, only 3% are irreligious. 96% of Nigerians carry religion on their head. The only countries more religious than Nigeria, somebody said Nigeria 200%. The only countries more religious than Nigeria are Oman, 100% religious, Bangladesh, 100%, Somalia, 100%, Ethiopia, Niger, Yemen, Morocco, Afghanistan and Nigeria are tied. Okay, Nigeria is 96, Afghanistan is 97. So the only countries senior to Nigeria are Afghanistan, Egypt, Thailand, Malawi, Niger, Ethiopia, Somalia, Bangladesh, and Oman. Now, let's look at nations like France, where a lot of us run to, 69, almost 70% of their population irreligious. So what am I trying to make out of all this? The more the religion, the lower the GDP and the higher the population. The less the religion, the higher the GDP and the lower the population. The more the religion, the poorer the country. The less the religion, the wealthier the country. Let's think this through. You did not come to this world to marry. You did not come to this world to have kids. There are enough of your... I'm not saying don't have kids. But don't put pressure on anyone who decides that they don't want to. Don't judge them. When your mother says to somebody, you've not married yet, tell her that your marriage and your bearing of children is what put us in where we are today. We need to start calling the last generation out and holding them responsible for the mistakes they made and how they got us messed up in where we are. God bless you all. Join Taste Buds now. She's starting in a moment. Join her. She has an awesome topic. It's tastebuds, youtube.com/tastebudsng. She's going to be talking about divorce and so much more. And on Instagram, it's tastebudsng. youtube.com/tastebudsng. Let's meet there. Remember, 2021 is the year you and I woke up. Also, don't forget to join us for service tomorrow, 11 a.m. on youtube.com/Daddy Freeze Teaches. 11 a.m. for our church service. Please, I want all of you. So now plenty here today. Now, so I want to make una plenty tomorrow. Make we discuss the word of God. Tomorrow we're teaching how to pray effectively. You need to know how to pray effectively. Join us for that. But in the meantime, I'm going right now to TasteBudsNG at TasteBudsNG. youtube.com/TasteBudsNG. Make we meet there. More go hear word.